welcome to today's session. Today is going to be the penultimate session for TCS. When I say penultimate, it means second last. That means tomorrow will be the last session for TCS pattern. Now, I have done one particular aspect in extreme detail and comprehensive way, and that is email writing. Why am I talking about email writing? Let me quickly show you what the pattern is. So first you will have an online assessment with 4 different categories. Once you clear the online assessment, then you will qualify for the interview round. In interview, you will have an HR round as well as technical round. Today I am going to introduce interview essentials in terms of body language, in terms of dress code, so on and so forth. Tomorrow I will do a refresher on this, as well as tomorrow I will talk about common questions that you can expect when you go for any interview, any organization for that matter. So let's begin with the pattern for the online assessment. Like I said, there are 4 different sections: email writing, quantitative aptitude, programming language C, multiple choice question. Then you have coding test. So you will have one email which you need to write within 10 minutes. You will have 20 questions in quantitative aptitude, and the time permitted is 40 minutes. There will be 2 questions which is marked as star. I'll explain what that means. Multiple choice question on programming language C. You will have 10 such questions, and the time permitted is 20 minutes. And coding test, you will have only one code to write, one program to write, with the permitted time being 20 minutes. There is a negative marking which is applicable only for quantitative section. For every wrong answer, you will lose 0.33% of the marks allocated for that particular question. However, 2 questions which is marked as star in quantitative aptitude, if you answer it correctly, you will score double points. That is bonus points. However, if you make a mistake, the negative marks will also double up, which means instead of minus 0.33, it will become minus 0.66%. So you have to be very careful in these 2 questions. We are already conducting session, or we already finished session on quantitative aptitude 11 to 12 session in the morning. These are the topics which you can expect for TCS: probability, permutation and combination, time and distance, time and work, equations, ratios and proportions, allegations or mixtures, series and progression. Quantitative aptitude topics continued with average, percentage profit and loss, problems on ages, areas, shapes and perimeter, number system, HCF and LCM, and reasoning. The email which I am talking about, where majority of students have failed, you need to be very careful. You need to read the topic carefully. You need to read and understand the keywords and key phrases given in the question. So every email will have questions. Let me quickly show you some example. Here is an example of an email question. It will give you a situation. It will mention the sender's name and the receiver's name. It will also give you outline. This outline is nothing but the keyword which has to be used in the email. Okay. Now the rule says you cannot change the form of this keyword. Happy cannot become happiness. Receive cannot become received. Crowded cannot become crowd. You need to use the keywords as mentioned in the topic itself, and any mistakes that you do in terms of spelling, grammar and punctuation, you will lose marks. So you got to be very careful there. It has to follow certain structure. There should be introduction, main body and summary. So let me read out the do's. Use each and every keyword and phrase mentioned. Even if you miss one of the keyword, the email will be invalid. You will get disqualified if you miss a single keyword. Ensure the keywords are used in the same form as mentioned in the topic, which means you cannot change the verb or the tense form. Keywords should be mentioned in the sequence as mentioned in the topic. Start a new paragraph for change of thought group, and every paragraph should start with a new line. The entire email should be left indent. Don't leave a gap on the left when you start a new paragraph. Use the receiver's and sender's name as mentioned in the topic. Always begin your mail with the greeting hello. End it with salutation, thanks and regards, or thanks or just regards. The email should be written within 10 minutes. So please keep this in mind. The time allowed is 10 minutes. If you submit at the 10th minute, you may get disqualified. You may not be able to submit the email. Please remember these 4 categories. You need to clear all the categories. If you fail in email but do very well in these 2 categories, that means you fail in the online assessment, which means you need to clear all these categories in order to qualify for interview. There will be a number of words mentioned. So word count of the email should be as per the instruction given in the question. So please do not miss a single keyword or phrase mentioned in the topic. Do not change the tense or verb form of the given keyword. Do not address the receiver as hi. Do not make any spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes or punctuation mistakes. Do not exceed the time limit, which is 10 minutes. And please write the email. Do not write it below the number of keywords given in the number of words given in the question. So in this question which we just saw, the instruction will be given something like this in your exam, main exam. It is compulsory to use all the specific keywords or all the specific words mentioned in the outline in your email. You can add other sentences of your choice as appropriate. The name of the sender and receiver should be as given, so please don't change the name. The email must contain minimum of 50 words. So even if you use 49 words, you will get disqualified. It has to be 50 and above. If the outline is strictly not followed, or correct English, which means spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes should be avoided. So if correct English is not used, the grade in this section will be poor. So I have done this practice for last 2.5 weeks, extensive practice. I've explained how the email should be written. I've explained how the heading should be, how you should read the mail, how you should keep in mind the keywords. You cannot change the form of the keyword. The entire email should be left indent. How to avoid any kind of punctuation mistakes, common spelling mistakes that we end up doing, how to avoid that. You need to practice a lot. I've shown you 7 to 8 different samples, and each sample I have written the email myself more than 5 to 6 times. Unfortunately, not a single person till date has responded with any email on the comment section of YouTube. So I'm not sure if you are paying attention, if you are practicing or not. Please understand, the Skill Development Corporation is conducting these programs only for your benefit. So if you do not practice, if you do not show me how your email is, I won't be able to look at it, correct and make suggestions to make yourself better. So take this opportunity to learn. You can post your email on the comment section. I will take a look and get back to you. All right. So today what we're going to do is we are going to talk about interview, because like I said, once you clear the online assessment, you will qualify for the interview round. Now there are 4 sections in online assessment. All 4 you need to clear, and in interview you will have 2 rounds, HR round and technical round. These rounds could happen one after another. Which one will be first, we don't know. It all depends on the availability of the interviewers. So before we go ahead and look at interview essentials, you need to understand what exactly an interview is. So what you're going to learn in this particular segment is what exactly an interview is, what is the importance of interview, what is the importance of your appearance, the way you dress, why is it important, and what kind of dress code you should be following, the importance of body language. Certain aspects of body language I will talk about, and they will also talk about the do's and don'ts. Okay, so these are the learning objectives for the session. Please make a note of this. Okay, now interview basically means interaction. Now in case if you are writing an assessment, multiple choice question, if you are in a technical round of interview, there is one correct answer to a question and unlimited number of incorrect answers, right? But when it comes to HR round, there is nothing called a correct answer or incorrect answer. There's nothing right or wrong. It's all the perspective. They want to look at what is your way of thinking, what is your point of view, are you confident, are you able to answer questions confidently. It's absolutely fine if you're nervous, but your confidence is what they are checking, your knowledge base is what they are checking. So when we say interview, it's more or less an interaction where they are talking to you. So there's nothing right or wrong that happens. It's all about the perspective or the point of view that they are looking at. Okay. Now coming to the dress code aspect of interview, we need to keep in mind that this dress code is applicable to both men and women, both boys and girls. It's absolutely fine to wear business formals like this. These are absolutely business formals. If the girls are not comfortable wearing a blazer, shirt and a skirt, or a trouser, shirt and a blazer, it's absolutely fine. You can wear Indian dresses as well, but something that is more formal, something that is elegant and simple. So this is something which is acceptable. But if you dress up something like this, which is more like a wedding dress, please avoid it. This is something which is not appreciated. Two reasons. One is it looks very flamboyant. Number two, it looks very uncomfortable when you're attending an interview wearing something grand like this. So please try to avoid a grand dress like this. It's absolutely fine if you dress up something very simple, something which you're very comfortable in. If you're comfortable with formals, it's fine, but if you're not comfortable with formals, please dress in a simple manner but elegant and classic formals Indian dresses. So this is something which you should definitely avoid. Now footwear is a very important aspect. If you do not wear the right footwear, you're not going to be comfortable. The way you walk, the way you sit, it's going to keep irritating you throughout the entire day, because it's going to at least 6 to 7 hours exercise from your online assessment to entire interview. So wear something which you are very comfortable with, but please do not wear anything fancy or anything extremely casual like this. This is something which is not allowed as a footwear for your interview. So wear something simple, wear something formal, something which is very comfortable. I know these kind of slippers are also comfortable, but this is a strict no. Please do not wear these kind of footwear. Okay. Now coming to men, the boys, if you're comfortable, if you know how to tie a knot on your tie, it's fine, go ahead. Now the tie should be absolutely tight, the top button should be fastened, and the tip of the tie should not be below your belt. This is the rule. Okay. If you don't like to wear a tie, you can wear a formal trouser, a shirt and formal shoes and belt. It's absolutely fine. But if you're comfortable wearing a tie, please go ahead. If you're not comfortable, please don't push yourself. It's absolutely fine if you're not wearing a tie. All right. Now, dresses something like this, which is termed casual, a shirt which is tucked out, a big checkered shirt which is tucked out or without collar, all these are considered informal. So please don't wear these casual dresses. It's absolutely no. It's a strict no to wear something like this. Now again, the shoes, the footwear for the boys, for the men, it should be formal, it should be leather. You can either wear a brown or you can wear a black. It's up to your choice what kind of shoes you're comfortable with. But there is a rule in terms of brown shoes. I'm going to explain to you soon. Okay. Shoes which are termed semi-formal or casual is not allowed. So wearing sneakers or sports shoes, wearing shoes without laces is not considered formal. It's not something which you should be wearing for an interview. So a laced shoe is what is well preferred. I personally do not suggest slip-on shoes at all. I personally suggest only laced shoes. Okay. So shoes something like this is again a strict no. Please do not wear any shoes like this. Now belt. The color of the belt should be the same as the color of your shoes. So if you are wearing a black shoe, the belt color has to be black. If you are wearing a brown belt and black shoe, that is wrong. If the belt is brown, the shoes should also be brown. If the belt is black, the shoe should be black. So basically the color of the belt, the shade of the belt should match those of the shoes. This is something which is formal, which is absolutely fine. But please do not wear any belt which looks like this. This is very informal or casual, something which we can wear with our denim, with our jeans, but not as a part of the formal dressing. Okay. Now if you like to wear a watch, it's absolutely fine to wear a watch like this, either with a metal strap or with a leather strap, but please make sure if you are wearing a watch with leather strap, please listen to me carefully, the color of the strap should match with the shoe and the belt, which means if you are wearing a black shoe, the belt has to be black, the watch strap should also be black. If you are wearing a brown shoe, your belt will be brown and the strap of the watch should also be brown. It all should be very well coordinated. Okay. Please do not wear, and for women, for the girls, you can wear a watch, metal watch, something like this, or with a leather strap, absolutely fine. But please do not wear a watch like this for interviews. This is strictly not allowed. This is not recommended. It shows that you have a casual attitude. So please do not wear a watch like this. When you go for an interview, you should always carry a pen. The pen should also be formal. Please do not carry a pen which is leaking. It can stain your shirt. It can stain your bag in case if you're carrying it in your handbag for the girls. So please carry a formal pen. Spend 25-30 rupees. You can buy a very good pen for that amount. Please do not carry these see-through pens for an interview. You can carry this for your assessment, but your assessment is going to be online. So you don't have to worry about carrying a pen. So avoid pens like this when you go for an interview. All right. Now coming to the top 10 questions which you can expect, but please remember one important point. When I talk about the top 10 question, it doesn't mean you need to memorize the answer. When we conduct interviews, when I conduct interviews for my organization, everybody expects that the first question will be, tell me more about yourself. I never ask that question. The reason is every candidate will come prepared to answer that question. So you cannot predict what kind of questions your interviewer is going to ask, what will be the sequence. You cannot predict that. But you need to prepare yourself to be in an interview and come out victorious, come out successful. But what we have done is we have put together common questions. These are common questions what they ask and what is the structure of your responses. Okay. Now in an interview, the questions are usually divided into 4 categories. These are D1, D2, D3 and D4. D1 is basically about yourself. Slide please. D1 is about yourself. D2 is about D1. D3 is impromptu questions. D4 is shuffle. What do I mean by this? Make a note of this, I will explain. D1 is about yourself. D2 is about D1. D3 is impromptu questions. D4 is shuffle. Alright. Now, D1 is usually the first question that they're going to ask. They have the resume in hand and they ask, now about resume, tomorrow I'll explain to you how to write a very simple and very good resume. It's not resume, it's resume. Alright. So D1 is basically domain 1, where they're asking you about yourself, where they say tell me more about yourself. So you can talk about your education background, you can talk about your family, you should talk about your strength, your weakness, your hobbies, so on and so forth. Now, for example, you say my hobby is reading books, and the interviewer asks, so who is your favorite author? What is the book that you read last month? So they are asking a question based on the answer you gave for D1. So that becomes a D2 question. So D2 is basically a question that is coming from the answers given in D1 section. Okay. D3 is something which you cannot predict. You cannot prepare for a D3 question. For example, they say if you become the CEO of this company, what is the first change you will bring for the organization? You cannot predict such questions. They ask these questions to see how confident you are and how much time you take to frame a sentence and provide an answer. They also check your ability to face an unexpected question and how is your body language. Are you going to fumble? Are you getting nervous? So you have to answer something. If you do not know an answer, the best way to tackle it is to say I don't know. Please don't give a made up answer, because they know that you made up an answer, it's not the truth, and they can easily catch you. So never make that mistake. So any question that they ask, you do not know an answer, always say that I'm sorry, I don't know about it. It's absolutely fine not to know about something than saying something which is not true. Sorry. D4 shuffle means where they are shuffling between D1, D2 and D3. While you are answering what will you do as a CEO, suddenly they say, okay, which year did you finish your graduation? You say 2017. They do that to check, are you able to shift your focus from one end to another in quick succession, in quick intervals. This is to check your ability or your capability in your mind to multitask or to answer two different questions from two different varieties at the same time. They are just checking the proficiency. Okay, let's go. So tell me about yourself. This is a self-introduction question where the questions will be what is your name, where are you from, education background. In reverse order, I will explain what that means, and family background in brief. So these are the answers that you can talk about. For example, I say my name is Ron, I am from Hyderabad. Now education background should always be mentioned in reverse order. Reverse order basically means I have completed my graduation in 2017, so I will talk about that first, then I will talk about intermediate, then I will talk about 10th. So I have to go descending order. If you are a final year student and if you're going for a campus recruitment, so you obviously don't know your final year scores because you haven't written the exam. So you can talk about your second year scores and first year score, then you can talk about your intermediate and 10th. So you can say I'm pursuing my BSc or I'm pursuing my engineering from Loyola College in Vijayawada. In my second year, I scored 72%, and in first year I scored 68%. I've done my intermediate from Vijayawada itself in Zilla Parishad School, and in my 10th I scored 69%, which I've done from Visakhapatnam. So I come from a family of farmers. My father is a farmer. I live in a joint family. My uncle is also a farmer. My aunt and my mother are housewife. I have a younger brother who is doing his 8th grade right now in Vijayawada itself. Okay. So you just gave a very brief introduction about your family and education. You don't have to talk a lot about family. Please understand, the company is going to hire you. The job is for you, not for the family. So you don't have to give too much detail about the family. Some companies even stop you from talking about the family. They do not ask personal questions. So it's appreciated if you talk about it. If you don't talk about the family, it's absolutely fine. But considering TCS hiring from campus, it's recommended that you speak about the family because they like to know more about the background. Okay. But like I said, it should be in brief. So for example, my name is, you mention the name. I live in, you mention which city. I have completed my BSc, my BCom or MBA in whatever the year. I live with my family of 4 members. Okay. So these are some of the responses that you can give. You can talk about your hobbies as part of this question itself. Tell me about yourself. But please remember, the hobbies are something which should add value to your personality. For example, I like reading books, playing cricket and watching informative programs. What do we mean by something which is constructive or developmental? Imagine if you say that my hobby is to watch movie songs in television. I like to watch funny videos in YouTube. Now an answer like this could be really bad. It could be your hobby. Maybe you have internet on your phone, Geo, free, and throughout the day you're just watching funny in Facebook videos. People keep posting funny videos or songs or dance. There are some people throughout the day, they sit in a corner and keep watching the video. That's it. They don't do anything else. It becomes a hobby and it becomes an addiction as well. But please remember, in an interview, if you're talking about watching videos on the phone as a hobby, that's extremely bad. That means you love to waste time throughout the day. Instead of learning something new, learning something constructive in internet itself, you are using a phone, free internet, you might as well watch some training videos. You might as well watch some nice speech, right? Or motivational videos. But instead of that, you're watching something else, movie, songs and dance, which is fine sometime in a week or a day, but not throughout the day. It cannot be a hobby. So please be very careful when you talk about your hobbies. Your hobbies should be something that adds more dimension to your personality. It adds more strength. It adds value to you as a person. Okay. Now, if you are using a hobby which is not a fact, then you could be in trouble. You cannot say that I love reading books, wherein the fact is you don't read books at all. The moment they ask who's your favorite author or writer and you don't have an answer. Please remember, your study books or study material for your college and school is not hobby of reading books. That's your duty to study. So those books do not count. If your favorite author is any person, read a bit more about that person because they will surely ask questions. When I conduct interviews, when somebody says I love reading books, for that matter, I don't like reading books. I like to read informative articles. I don't read books as such. So when they say that they like reading books, my first question is, what was the last book you read and who's your favorite author? When they give a very generic answer like Swami Vivekananda and all that, I know that they have read 1 or 2 books, but it's not a hobby. So when you talk about a hobby, it should be something which you are very passionate about. For example, listening to music, for example, gardening, for example, collecting stamps and coins. All these are hobbies because you're putting a lot of time and effort for that. Okay. Moving on, what are your strengths? Now, strengths are something which adds on to the dimension, the characteristic of you as a person. So you should be talking about not physical strength, but the mental strength. For example, hard work, dedication, integrity, adaptability, teamwork. What do we mean by this? These are some of the essential criteria or traits that every company looks for in a new hire. So when they are hiring freshers, if they are hiring experienced people, these are the qualities that they are looking for in everybody. And if you say this is my strength, you also need to have reason why it's a strength. For example, you can't say my strength is my integrity. Integrity means what? Doing the right thing. Even if doing the wrong thing is beneficial, you will not do it. You will only do the right thing. Say for example, teamwork. You say my strength is teamwork. The interviewer will definitely ask, can you give me an example? How do you think teamwork is your strength? So you need to answer that question. You need to have a story to back it up. For example, you can say I was part of school team. I was part of the college team for cricket. And while playing with 11 different players, I understood what the importance of teamwork is, because even if the opening batsman and the first down batsman fails, the second, third and fourth down batsman has to take up the responsibility and score runs. If one bowler in the team is not bowling well, the other bowler has to do or outperform themselves so that they can balance it out. You can say I was part of the cultural team in my college, and there were 6 of us. Each of us had our own responsibility to take care of for the annual day of the college. Unfortunately, just one day before annual day, one of my friend who was also part of the cultural team, she fell sick. So I took the responsibility to take care of what she was supposed to do. So when you talk about these real life instances, that shows that yes, you are indeed a person who believes in hard work, and that's your strength. And teamwork is something that is coming naturally to you because you have put yourself in situations like that. Dedication, for example, you say dedication is my strength. What do we mean by that? Dedication means if you have been given a task, you will do it no matter what the obstacles are. So you can give an example. For example, if somebody is conducting an interview and I say that my strength is dedication, and they ask, can you give me an example why you feel so? So I can say that I was given the responsibility of finishing a particular project in my second year. In the evening, I was supposed to go for a family function, but I chose not to go because I had to finish this particular project. So I'm dedicated for what I am assigned to. Now, which shows when the company is looking for candidates with dedication, that means they take their job very seriously, they are passionate about it, and they work with a single focus mind to do the thing or to finish the task within the time and with the same accuracy. Now, when you're working in an organization, the challenge is two. One is the time, the second one is perfection. Now that you are studying in college, if you have written a particular answer for a question in your assessment or in your test, in your unit test or say final exam, the total marks allocated for that particular answer is 10. If half the answer is correct, you will still get 5 points, correct? But when you're working in an organization, you are writing a code. If the code cannot be executed, the whole thing is wrong. You cannot say that it's partially correct, so I should be given partial appreciation. It doesn't work that way. It's either right or wrong. There is no middle path anymore. So when we talk about dedication, we need to look at, do you finish the work within the time and with complete accuracy? If you have been given a task to do 10 different things in 5 hours, you finish the task in 5 hours, but all of them are wrong. That's not acceptable. Or you took 8 hours to finish all the tasks, all are correct, but you took 8 hours, which means 60% more time. So what happens is, in an organization, if you exceed the allowed time and if you do not hit accuracy, the clients are not going to be happy. That's why I say it's a race against time as well as accuracy. So you need to be perfect and you need to be fast. Now these timelines I derived based on studies. The manager will not come and say, I need this to be done in 20 minutes. They give the time because they know it can be done in 20 minutes. So these are the aspects you need to think, that how an organization works, what kind of targets they will set. Keeping those in mind, we have decided that, okay, if I choose hard work as my strength, if I choose teamwork, if I choose integrity, if I choose dedication, adaptability. What do I mean by adaptability? Adaptability means my ability to adjust or my ability to adapt myself in any environment. You had been studying in your hometown for last 15 years, 16 years. You haven't stepped out of your state, right? You've been Andhra Pradesh for all your life. Imagine if you get a job and you have to go to Jaipur, or you have to go to Bombay, or you have to go to Delhi. I have come across so many students when they say they are looking for a job, they don't want to relocate. They don't want to migrate to other cities. Even if they're willing to move to other cities, they either want to go to Chennai or Hyderabad or Bangalore. The reason is they are comfortable with the language. But please understand, if you are very fixated about only these 3 locations, you are limiting your opportunity. The entire country is open. The entire country needs very skilled and talented resources. So it's not limited only to 3 cities, right? So when you look out for opportunities in other cities as well, in northern India also, you need to ask yourself, can you adapt yourself to a different culture, different language? So these are the aspects the companies also look for. For example, if they hired you and they ask that you need to go to Delhi for 2 years, you will be there working from the Delhi office, and you say, no, I cannot go because I'm very far from the family, and they'll be like, sorry, then you cannot get the job. So you being young, you being energetic, you need to be adaptable and you need to be flexible. Okay. So these are the aspects that an interviewer will look for when the interview happens. There are more such aspects that I will talk about in my sessions tomorrow. I'll talk about some more common questions. I will talk about how the responses should be and why you should watch the words that you use. I will talk a bit about uncomfortable questions, difficult questions, how to answer these questions, so on and so forth. So tomorrow is going to be the last session for TCS, so please do pay attention and please post your question in the comment section of the YouTube video. Nice to have you again. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.